welcome. We're glad that you're able to join us for our community prayer time today. These last few months, we have not gathered in our Dayspring chapel to pray, but we are praying together just from different places. And these days, it feels even more important to stay connected to our spiritual life and to one another. So for this month, we are exploring the theme of trust in God. L'Arche Canada invites us to focus on a different core value every 2 months. And trust in God is a core value developed through the L'Arche servant leadership model. We've invited a number of guests and community members this month to share how trust in God is nurtured and how it anchors our daily life. Traditionally, we begin our gatherings by remembering members of our community, our family, and friends who are no longer with us, but continue to be present with us as our community of saints. Now, I invite you to take a moment to allow the bell to call us into prayer.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
It's a picture of me when I didn't have a beard with my mom and my dad. And I feel really fortunate that my mom and dad are both still alive. And so we're able to talk and see each other like this through Zoom calls. But they live a long way away. They live in the United States and they live in Chicago. And Chicago is a place right now that isn't very safe at all. There are lots of COVID cases in Illinois and in the Chicago area. So they live in an apartment and they don't go out very much. And when they go out, they like us, they wear masks to protect themselves and protect other people too. It's been a long time since I've seen my mom and dad. We usually see each other about 3 or 4 times every year, but it's been a year since we've seen each other. I saw them last November, and I really miss them. They're getting older, and my mom's health isn't doing that well right now. She has an infection in her lungs, and so she's trying to take care of that infection, and it makes it hard to be at such a distance when I want to go and not only see my mom but give her a hug and maybe give her a kiss on the cheek or make a meal for her or do some vacuuming or something to let her know that I care about her and love her. And I can't do that because of the pandemic. And it's something I think that maybe all of us in some way or another experience. There are lots of things that we can't do right now that we'd want to do, whether it's helping out somebody else or whether it's doing something for ourselves. And it becomes a time that's challenging in that way. And so what I'm finding is it's inviting me into a time of trusting, trusting that a phone call and a Zoom call, an email, even a text to my mom and dad is okay and is something that matters. And maybe you're finding that too in your own life, that those little things that maybe we took for granted before the pandemic all of a sudden aren't so little anymore. Being able to look into someone's eyes and seeing how they feel without being able to see their mouth because you're both wearing a mask. So we communicate a lot more with our eyes these days. Or maybe there's something you're noticing around your home that you're doing differently, or some person that you're paying particular attention to because they live by themselves or they're going through a hard time. And so it's called forth an opportunity in you and maybe me too to care and to take care in a new and a different way. And so I'm wondering if that's one of the encouragements as we're reflecting on this theme, and you've been reflecting on the theme most of the month of November, is somehow to trust in God and trust those little ways are something that aren't so little with God. You know, I'm drinking this mug that I've had for a long time from Daybreak, and it was made from the craft studio. And whenever I drink from it, I remember the community at Daybreak, and I remember my friends there. But I also remember how the gift of that mug, something really small, is such a wonderful thing to help me feel connected to friends and a community that I really love and care about. So I'm wondering for you, in what ways trusting in God might be an encouragement or an affirmation, if you're doing those things already or living that way, to be really close to those small and little things about life. The passage that Patrick read for us around having this treasure in clay jars is a reminder of the beauty about clay and what can come from clay, but also the fragility. It's not a treasure in a steel drum, or it's not a treasure in a cement block. It's a treasure in something that's beautiful and also fragile. It takes time to care for those things, and it's good for us to be reminded of taking care of those treasures we have in clay jars, which is not only our lives, but also the lives of those we love and care about in the community and at a distance. So may we continue to grow in our trust of each other as we trust in God, and may trusting in God help us in some way to trust each other, as trusting each other seems in some mysterious way to help us trust in God. Amen.
We are marching in the light of